All right, so I hope you guys are ready because today we are going to dive into the latest disaster film from Roland Emmerich's science fiction disaster film Moonfall on 4K. And I'm so excited. Can you tell? Moonfall is a 2022 adventure science fiction film directed by Roland Emmerich and starring Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, and John Bradley, as a mysterious force knocks the moon from its orbit around Earth and sends it hurtling on a collision course with life as we know it. Lionsgate presents this film on native 4K with Dolby Vision and HDR10. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today I am very excited. I don't know if excited is the right word, but I am happy to be here to talk about Moonfall on 4K. Yes, Moonfall on 4K. Now, I'm a little bit late to the party on this one. I was late in picking up the Steelbook because I didn't know if I actually wanted to own this movie. I haven't heard the best things about it. But yeah, look at this Steelbook. It's just too beautiful. Look at this. It's a beautiful Steelbook. But yeah, you can pretty much thank my live chat and the stream that I did this morning for this review, because I said, hey, if you can get this stream to 100 likes, I will review Moonfall for you guys. And I got to 100 likes because people like to see me suffer, I guess. So yeah, we're going to talk about Moonfall, okay? We're going to talk about the movie. We're going to talk about the visual quality of the 4K. We're also going to talk about the sound. It is in Dolby Atmos. And we're going to talk about special features. And we're going to talk about, the packaging. We just did talk about the packaging. It's beautiful. Look at this Steelbook. It is absolutely beautiful. Look at John Bradley. You got Samwell Tarly from Game of Thrones. You got, one half of the Conjuring super team. And you got Catwoman, Storm, whatever you want to call Baps. Whatever you want to call Halle Berry over there. Let's talk about Moonfall. So yeah, we're going to talk about this movie. I'm stalling. Can you guys tell I'm stalling to talk about this movie? So look, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate that if it's your first time discovering me here on the Mid-Level Media channel. I do all kinds of 4K reviews. I don't just review, Roland Emmerich disaster movies on 4K. I have lots of reviews. Hit the subscribe button. Also, be sure to like this video. Look, you guys wanted me to do this damn thing. Like this video, okay? You like the stream to get me to review this. Now like this video. I need some likes on this video, for goodness sakes. And comment down below, what's your thoughts on Moonfall? Come on. I need to know. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know in the comment section below. I mean, this movie has a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not really a bad score. Like Batman vs. Superman, I think, had a lower score than this movie. So it's not really a terrible score at the end of the day for all the crap I've heard about this movie. So yeah, I watched this with my wife tonight. I got her to watch it with me. I was like, do you want to watch Moonfall? I was like, I'm sure it's going to be horrible. And she says, yeah, sure, I'll watch it. So you might hear us talk about it on our channel, Married with Media, which I have that link down below if you want to subscribe to my other channel where I talk about movies and TV and streaming and all that stuff. So, yeah, we watched it together, and I got to be honest. Look, the movie's not terrible. It is terrible, but it's not so bad that it's unwatchable. Like, I enjoyed watching certain parts of it. I didn't really take it too seriously, which I don't think you should take a movie like this too seriously. It is directed by Roland Emmerich. I feel like at this point I've just been burned so many times by Roland Emmerich that when I go into a Roland Emmerich film, I'm just like, okay, this isn't gonna be good. Like he doesn't have that magic. He doesn't have that fire that he used to. And maybe he never did. And I'm just kind of so blinded by nostalgia for films like Independence Day. And I'm trying to think of other movies that he did that I liked, but Independence Day is definitely one of the best. I love The Patriot. I feel like that's a pretty serious movie, and Roland Emmerich did that as well. So yeah, Roland Emmerich has done some good movies in the past that I have enjoyed, but ever since The Day After Tomorrow, like it's gone downhill for me. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. I only saw it once, and I think I saw it in theaters, and I wasn't a huge fan. I really didn't like 2012. The Independence Day sequel was an abomination against humanity. That is probably the worst movie that he's ever did. Probably my worst theater experience. People ask me what my worst theater experience is. That's it. I'll go ahead and say it right there. Independence Day Resurgence just made me sad. It really made me sad because I love that first one so much. and it was just it was so lifeless. There was just nothing to that, so hollow, so empty. So going into Moonfall, I think he did Midway as well, which was a recent like war Pearl Harbor movie. I don't think that was terrible either. It definitely wasn't great, but I don't think it was terrible. So going into Moonfall again, my expectations were pretty low. It's Roland Emmerich. I pretty much know what I'm going to get. This movie's really it was really nuts with the plot. It really goes for it, and I think it combines, two of the things that Roland Emmerich was kind of known for in the 90s, and that's, disaster and science fiction, which there is a heavy amount of science fiction in this movie, and to the point where it really just turns into a full-on like Star Wars, like space exploration type movie when we get into the fight. Like there's a sequence in this movie that reminded me of Halo, the video game. And I haven't seen Elysium, but I'm pretty sure there's some of that like circular sphere aircraft in that one, or space station stuff. But there's like a whole sequence of this big space station that's like in the form of a halo, and they're like living in it, and the AI takes over and whatever. There's a lot of there was a lot of thought that was put into the story. Again, I'll say that it felt like somebody really thought about this plot very long and very hard, and then tried to implement it into this story about the moon falling to the earth. Which in and of itself could have just been the plot of the movie. Like the moon, is losing its gravitational pull and it's coming towards the earth. Like that could have been the plot for a disaster type movie. But the fact that they injected all of this like deep, rich science fiction elements into the movie just goes to show that I think that Roland Emmerich really does care about the movies that he's making. I just don't think he realizes like what he's actually putting out into the world. To him, I think he thinks he's making some of the greatest cinematic achievements in the past 20 years. And there's like an hour-long documentary where he gets into the making of this movie and how they use like real life scientists and stuff to get the science right with some of the. I'm like, how did you? There's no way you all got the science right with this, but. They said they got a real life scientist, so what do I know? Maybe all this stuff in Moonfall is possible. So yeah, back to Roland Emmerich. He's done some stuff that I like, and he's just been more missed than hit as of lately. But I'll say this. I enjoyed watching this movie more than I did Independence Day Resurgence. I enjoyed watching this movie more than 2012. I don't like that movie at all. The Day After Tomorrow. I enjoyed watching this better than that. I think this is more interesting. Like I said, it goes into some interesting directions in like the last 30 minutes that kind of show like shades of Mission to Mars, which I'm a big fan of. Brian De Palma's Mission to Mars. I haven't seen that in a very long time. I wish that would come to 4K. That would be a great 4K release. 2001, there's a little bit of that in there. It kind of goes for some deep philosophical, insightful, intellectual science fiction stuff towards the end. And I appreciated that. It's not really fully fleshed out. It's not really, the actors really can't handle the weight of that material the best. There's even a little Arrival in there that I noticed as well. Like they really, like I said, they try to go deep into some stuff in the last 30 minutes, and I appreciated it. It's just this isn't the kind of movie that you expect that from, and then given like the first hour and a half of this movie, which is just so ridiculous and out there, and the characters are just so stupid and annoying and just terribly performed and acted just across the board. And, the moments are so ridiculous and out there, and it's just so tropey as this, disaster film that you've seen 100 times before. So when you get to those final moments, it's like, okay, this is cool, but like, could we have maybe led with some of this stuff? But yeah, you got Patrick Wilson in this movie. I enjoy Patrick Wilson. He's a good actor. It's a shame that he's, doing stuff like this. I feel like he could be doing a lot better. And his character is required to hit some emotional moments in this movie, but you just can't quite get there. The writing's not there, and just the overall, I think, direction of the actors just isn't there to handle some of these more emotional moments, or at least like you're supposed to feel emotion. I didn't. John Bradley is, he's okay. Like, he's good in Game of Thrones. I just don't really know anything else that he's been in that I could say, that I can point to and say, it's Moonfall's fault is the reason why he wasn't good in this movie. But yeah, he's not good. He's kind of annoying as a character. Halle Berry's just kind of there. she's just kind of there to like cut to and have some tears well up in her face, and that's pretty much all she does. And Halle Berry's, you know, of course, has been great in the past. She hasn't really done anything great in a while. So this cast together, they try to have chemistry. They really don't. But again, this isn't the type of movie that I'm going to pick on for chemistry between the characters or anything. The action is pretty good. It's overly CGI like you would expect from a Roland Emmerich film. Like ever since 2012 or The Day After Tomorrow, it's just all kinds of just ridiculous, you know, CGI action set, just buildings just breaking from the ground and flying. It's just a mess. It's just a bunch of messy like buildings and stuff flying and debris flying. It's like it takes you out of it so much because the destruction's just so intense and outlandish that it's like you just can't buy that that's actually what would really happen. It's not realistic, and it's like, okay, so everybody's dead pretty much. It just eliminates all the drama. It's like once you see all these buildings just breaking everywhere and stuff and the actual world on fire, and you're just like, okay, everybody's dead. So that's pretty much it. But then it cuts to another scene where a character's on the ground walking around like nothing's going on. And I'm like, what you just showed me on screen like would indicate that everybody has just died because all of the buildings are flying everywhere. And it just looks like the world is breaking apart. And again, like he does that numerous times in his movies. Like 2012, like they're just driving on a road and the road's just flying everywhere and stuff. It's like nobody's going to survive this. So like no tensions there. It's not like, you know, Greenland is the best example of like a recent disaster film that just did it right. Like that was realistic destruction. Like an asteroid came down, destroyed a city. You know, maybe a couple other asteroids came down or whatever, but it's like the whole world wasn't breaking apart throughout the whole movie while the characters were moving around. So it allowed for tension to build, for you to actually anticipate stuff as it happened instead of everything just happening at once. Tidal waves coming up. Like there's a sequence where a big tidal wave is coming into the city, and, you know, it's taking everything out, electrocuting buildings, blowing up, and they're all inside this building, and they're just like, let's go upstairs. And then they go upstairs and they're okay. And it's like, you just showed me that this tidal wave's like destroying all these buildings, but they're okay in this building. It just doesn't make any sense. That kind of stuff I think about when I watch these movies. So maybe a little bit too much. But yeah, I used to be a huge disaster movie fan in the 90s. I loved this stuff when I was growing up, and it doesn't feel the same anymore with these types of movies. But again, I'll say this, I enjoyed this more than some of the recent Roland Emmerich films, that he's done. So look, as a movie, I'm not going to be too hard on this, but again, I'm not going to be too fair on this either, or too nice to this movie. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5. It's not terrible. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Like I had some enjoyment in it. And like I said, they bring in some themes at the end that I could kind of get on board for and latch on to just a little bit. There were interesting ideas at play here. I just think that it would have been far more interesting in another director's hands. Like the idea of the moon being a space station created by aliens from 6 billion years ago is an interesting concept, like all on its own. You don't need the moon to be crashing into the earth at the same time that's happening. You just don't need that. Like, so it just felt like two different ideas that one would make a good Roland Emmerich movie about the moon crashing into the earth, and the other one would make a good Denis Villeneuve or, you know, Alex Garland movie, or whoever's creating interesting science fiction films nowadays. It just felt like it would have been better suited for those directors. Neil Blomkamp maybe could have came back. Like I said, it kind of felt like Elysium a little bit in certain sequences. So, you know, 2.5 I think is fair for this. Now let's get into the visual quality. This movie looks spectacular on 4K. It really does. It looks really great. But like I said, all the CGI, it's just too much. Like it's just such a mess. It just looks like somebody just vomited CGI all over the place. And it's like, it all looks really good and really crisp and really clear, but it doesn't really impress me. It's just a bunch of buildings and muck flying around everywhere. Now, where I think it does stand out is when they get into the space station, the actual moon space station, and you get to see those close-up visuals on Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson with the blue lighting on them. Like all that stuff in the ship looks really great. And then they get down there and there's like some green lighting flashing apart, and just the interior look of the moon space station looks really good in 4K. So I mean, yeah, the 4K looks great. I mean, it's really crystal clear and just looks absolutely fantastic. I can't really complain about the 4K transfer to this. It is in Dolby Vision. It's got HDR, HDR10, and it looks great. You can't really complain about it. Now, as for the audio, it's in Dolby Atmos, Dolby True HD 7.1, Dolby Digital 5.1 in French and Spanish. And from what I hear, again, I don't have this Atmos set up. I'm just listening to it on the soundbar, but I can totally see how this could sound absolutely fantastic with that Dolby Atmos, because there's just so much going on everywhere. It's like I can just imagine it really getting a workout, really working out your Dolby Atmos system. So from what I hear, this is just one of the best Dolby Atmos tracks that's been released on a film in all of 2022. So I've heard great things about the audio for this one. The special features, there's a whole hour-long documentary on the making of this movie that, like I said, I watched probably like 10 minutes of it. I couldn't, after watching like this movie for 2 hours and 10 minutes, I'm like, the thought of sitting through an hour-long documentary on the making of it just made me even more tired. But it was interesting from what I heard. It goes into Roland Emmerich and his partner, trying to look up the guy that wrote it with him on here. I think it was Harold Klauser, who helped him write this one. Because I think that they wrote it together. Yeah, it says that Roland Emmerich does have writing credit on this. So they wrote it together with Spencer Cohen as well. So it kind of goes into that and how they came up with the idea and how they did the teaser trailer and sold it to the studio. Which at this point, you're Roland Emmerich. I'm sure they're like, yeah, make another stupid disaster film and we'll make a little bit of money off of it. So yeah, they showed him the trailer with the moon falling on the earth and sold, make the movie. So that was kind of interesting. So yeah, that hour-long documentary. Then they go into like there's a Against Impossible Odds, making Moonfall, but then there's a feature exploring the moon, past, present, and the future that goes into like the actual moon. It's like a documentary on the moon itself from Moon Experts. So I didn't watch it, but I watched like a minute of it to get a feel for it. And that's about 30 minutes long. There's an audio commentary by writer, producer, director Roland Emmerich and writer, producer, composer Harold Klauser. So both of them together talking about the movie in an audio commentary. So that's really cool. It doesn't skip on the special features at all. Lots of great special features here to dive into. And like I said, the packaging on this steelbook is absolutely great. But if you do just want the regular 4K slipcover, which again, I'll link the 4K for this down below. That has a great slipcover as well with great artwork. The Blu-ray had a great slipcover. Like all these releases, like Target has a lenticular cover, but the actual 4K with the slipcover is available right now for $24.96 if you just want this on the 4K. And again, you're going to get, the audio visual quality and the special features and stuff, but it's cool to have this steelbook because it's a really nice steelbook. So if you want this, maybe check your local Best Buy because they might still have some of them in stock. A gorgeous Lionsgate steelbook. So at the end of the day, can I recommend this? It just comes down to your taste. Do you like these types of movies? Is what I described feel like it's worth it to you? I enjoyed it. But like I said, it goes into some stuff at the end that I wish they just explored more and made a whole movie about, and it wasn't directed by Roland Emmerich. But, it's okay. It's an okay movie. So as a package, I mean, it's great visuals and audio and got tons of special features. And so, I mean, if you like these types of movies, if you like the Roland Emmerich movies like 2012 and, Day After Tomorrow, then I would recommend buying it. Again, it's only $25 if you just get the 4K release of this one. So sure, I'll recommend it. I'll give this a 3.5 out of a 5 for an actual release. Actually, you know what? Like I said, packaging's good. It's good in all the areas, and the movie's okay. I'll give this a 4 out of a 5. I will give this a 4 out of a 5 for an actual release. So look, there you go. That's my review of Moonfall on 4K. I hope you guys were happy to hear my thoughts on this one. You guys wanted this to happen. And it's happening. So I hope that you watched this video and you enjoyed it and you got something from it. So appreciate everybody watching. Please like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment down below your thoughts on Moonfall. Again, I'll be leaving the link for purchase in the description below if you want to purchase it based on my recommendation. And turn on those bell notifications for all future videos. Follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are in the description. And we'll see you next time.